Hello and welcome to Bangalore 101, your weekly capsule, and I am your host Mansi Paresh Kumar. The ORR is getting a dedicated bus priority lane, and all of those people who championed public transport for these years let out a huge hooray. This project essentially is trying to convince people to get onto a more faster and economical mode of transport while decongesting the Bangalore roads. The BPL or the bus priority lane is very different from the BRT, which is the bus rapid transport. Now, the BRT is actually a dedicated infrastructure that is built and implemented where the buses almost never integrate with traffic, regular traffic. The BPL, on the other hand, borrows from the BRT but functions essentially on the existing road resources that we have. This is a very important difference. Bangalore is getting BPL. Now, the cities that we will try and compare it with have BRT, and we're comparing them primarily because there are lessons that we can learn from them. We're starting with Delhi, which also had a version of BRT tried and tested on its roads, and which almost unanimously was announced as a disaster. Now, many reasons were attributed to this because it was a very short distance, which was about 6 kilometers, and it was never enough. It was never going to work that way. The positioning of the lane at the center without actually working on a BRT was created a lot of problem for the pedestrians. There were accidents, there were lawsuits. It was a disaster. Now, the Bangalore BPL has these issues to consider. One was when we were still debating about the placement of the bus priority lane. But, they were deciding whether it would be center or left, and now we've gone with left, and we need to stick with that. Because, as I said before, the lesson that we could learn from Delhi is about the safety of the pedestrians who become pedestrians after they disembark from the buses. It's very, very important that we keep their safety in mind. The second issue is the last mile connectivity. Now, we couldn't find any information about whether the departments who involved in this project have looked at the average distance between bus stands, the average distance from your house to a bus stand. It needs to be addressed because we don't want to have last mile connectivity problems like we have with the metro. Because remember, either the BRT or the BPL do not offer parking anywhere. It does not fit into that design. The second city that we're visiting for some lessons is Pune, because Pune was the first place where the BRT was implemented in December of 2006. This year, however, it was announced that other vehicles, private vehicles, will be allowed on the BRT lane, primarily to accommodate the growing congestion because of the ongoing metro construction. The first stretch that has been identified for the BPL in Bangalore, the ORR Silkboard stretch, has a proposed metro line on it. How are we going to deal with this? If you look at the trial run that is happening, the videos coming out of that, you see that the buses are right behind one another. What happens if one of them breaks down? Because there is no exit that's being planned just yet, or one we can't see. How do we deal with this? We can't be adding to a problem. Because the perception of public transport, especially bus travel as it is today, is not the most favorable. We need BPL to actually enhance the brand of using public transport, and especially buses. Because if we get this wrong, we'll not be given a second chance. It will dent the idea of using public transport. What happens to Bangalore congestion after that? How are we going to deal with it? That's all we have for you this week. We'll see you again next week. Till then, goodbye.